All right, Heavenly, or Heavenly and Nikita, it's a minute after 3, so we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce Daily Action Call. I'm Tracy Myers, the EVP of Member Engagement and a proud alum of Leadership Greensboro. Today is Motivation Monday. Motivation Monday is designed for virtual networking with the Chamber team. Your member engagement team is on the call. I'm very excited to see you here today. The archive of all of our previous calls can be found on the Chamber website at greensboro.org/COVID-19. You'll also notice that we're utilizing the video feature of the call. We miss our members and we love seeing everybody face to face. So this is our virtual networking day. We are excited to point out our Motivation Monday call sponsor, Spectrum Reach. Spectrum Reach offers TV and digital advertising solutions that are accessible, affordable, and effective for local, regional, and national businesses. And they have a special offer for small businesses. So if we have Susan on the call, I will open it up for her to speak.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Great. So I am just on the phone. I wanted to say thanks again. We're so humbled and thankful to be part of anything having to do with small businesses in our area. We truly know that you are the backbone of America, and we want to support you in any way that we can. And as has been said, we are the advertising arm of Spectrum. We are Spectrum Reach. We are cable, digital, all types of advertising where you have your video and you're trying to get your message across. So we can do that on whichever device your watchers are watching. But the special offer that we have today is we've partnered with Waymark to create an opportunity for you to have a free video for your business, and that's any business and all businesses. So there are no strings attached. You don't have to buy anything. This is an opportunity for you to use this on your social media, for your website, to update your information, to let your customers or your clients or patients know how you can serve them now. The world's changed a bit, and you may need to get that communication out there. And it also works as a commercial if you want to use it with us and you do want to do some TV advertising. Again, whether you're trying to reach people on traditional TV, streaming, whatever, we're reaching those folks. So it is available to you, and we would offer a special 20% discount off of your campaign. So I will send out some information on the chat on how to take advantage of it, but you literally just go to spectrumreach.com/rebound to claim your free video. And thank you.
Thank you. We do have the flyer shared on the screen, so everyone can check that out, and the information will be in the chat as well. At this point, I will be turning over today's call to Leadership Greensboro. So today is Leadership Greensboro Takeover Day for Motivation Monday. And so Nikita Green is our program director for LG, and I'm going to hand it over to Nikita.
Thank you, Tracy. Hi, everyone. This is a privilege to be able to have a takeover on our Monday motivation call. I am the director for Leadership Greensboro, and so I want to give you a quick overview of what it is if you're not familiar. We are a signature 3-part community leadership development program. And through the program, we provide our city with an ongoing source of diverse leaders that are, once they leave the program, they are positioned to be catalysts for change in the community and sustainers of good quality of life for everyone. Our program welcomes a cohort of 45 diverse and I think outstanding leaders who represent really a cross-section of the Greensboro community. So all different industries, ages, etc. Leadership Greensboro curriculum includes superior leadership development content from the Center for Creative Leadership. The program also includes information that's pertinent and very relevant to our community. So the participants in our 9-month program leave with deep relationships with other diverse leaders. They have vast knowledge of the community and hopefully are inspired and then able to serve it better. We provide through the program, we meet between August and May. We meet at least once a month, sometimes 2 or maybe more. We have monthly themed program days. And in those days, we utilizing site visits, tours, speakers, panels, activities. We focus on topics, as I said, that are really relevant to our community. So we have days like Government and Community Information Day, Economic Development Day, Diversity and Inclusion Day, Health and Human Services Day. So it gives people a really in-depth look at what's happening now in our community. Our alumni, of which we have about 1,100, and over the past 44 years of the program, our alumni come back, and the alumni from the previous year come back and they help plan the experience for the next class. And the alumni and the new class are led by 4 elected leaders that we in our program called program chairs. So they are my right and my left hand. They are a phenomenal team, and I definitely could not do this program by myself, and certainly not without their excellent leadership. So without further ado, I will introduce you to the program chairs with the 2020 class: Brandon Inscore, Elizabeth Paul, Heavenly Walker, and James Blackwell. You guys can
You want me to just
take it.
I'll take the mic. If that's what you're asking for, Nikita.
Yes.
All right. Well, it's great to see everybody. Thank you, Nikita, for just giving a great overview of Leadership Greensboro and just giving us an opportunity to take over Motivation Monday. And what could be more motivating than learning about this awesome leadership program and how it has affected so many of us and so many of classes to come. So just wanted to quickly share, and I'll probably tag one of my partners in crime program chairs after this. But as far as my experience, I mean, Leadership Greensboro, if you're looking for some form of leadership development and a way to also give back to your community and learn about the community that you're in, Leadership Greensboro is a place for it. I am from Greensboro. I'm a native, and I learned more about this community going through Leadership Greensboro than I did growing up here. My experience was just building what I consider lifelong bonds with everyone that was in the best class ever and forever 2019, as well as just go ahead and cancel all that extra stuff out now. I see you, Marcus. I see you shaking your head. But just wanted to say that my experience with the program was awesome, as well as just building the bond that I've been able to create with working with the program chairs, our awesome team of 4, and then our fierce leader, Nikita. It's been just, I don't know, it's been great. I can't really express or put it into words, but I definitely hope that others get the opportunity to experience what I've experienced, and that's all I got right now. I'm sure I have more later. Elizabeth, I know you're ready to speak.
Oh, no. I really, there's not much more to add than what Heavenly said. I think my experience was a bit different in that I'm not from Greensboro. My husband grew up here, but I feel like even though he was from here, every time I came home from a program today, I was just 100 miles an hour about whatever it was I'd learned. And he'd go, "What? That's here? What are you talking about?" So it does, there's just so much information to cover. But as a new person, coming to live here, work and play and learn, I feel like there were so many bonds to be formed and so many doors to be opened. We all know that Greensboro is at its core a meritocracy. I feel like this town embraces any talent. If you have got something to offer, this town will just scoop it up and say, "Come on in and help us." But I think as a new person, you never really know, okay, well, how do I exactly plug myself in? And so for me, not only having 45 new best friends and professional contacts was helpful, but also the opportunity to just learn about the variety of ways in which I could use my talents to give back. So you not only learn how to use your talents to give back, but where to go, and you're learning all about the different opportunities. So for me, I feel like any which way I want to be able to be of service to this wonderful community, I now have a door in. And that's invaluable, right? Because there's so many people that want to help, want to get engaged, want to do stuff. But a lot of times they never do it because they just don't know where to start. And so for me, it has just been a fabulous inroad to all of my passions and things that I wanted to accomplish professionally as well here in town. So, and we couldn't do it without Nikita. She really is the backbone. So it's a fabulous program for any of you considering it for yourselves or for someone on your team. I can't say enough about the ROI and the impact that you personally and professionally will feel going through the program. So how about you, James?
Yeah, I agree. Thanks for passing the ball or passing the baton, Elizabeth. I agree. I'm originally from Niagara Falls, so I grew up in Niagara Falls, Ontario, as well as Niagara Falls, New York, here in the U.S. And so I spent a good amount of time in Charlotte, but I was not really clued in on what was happening in Greensboro. And I made my way to Greensboro by way of employment in 2014. And firsthand, I've been able to see that this is an exciting town. When you think, sometimes when people outside of our area, they think about North Carolina, they tend to, have Charlotte come off or roll off their lips, or maybe it's Raleigh they're talking about, or maybe even Winston-Salem. But there's so many great things happening that I've learned here in Greensboro. It's just very exciting. It seems like a community or a city that, is still putting together its identity. The wealth of universities and colleges that are here, the history that is here, it is just like no other place. And Leadership Greensboro, for me, has given me the opportunity to tap into all of this and share it with people in the community, and share it with friends and families and coworkers and colleagues back in Charlotte and in other places throughout the country. I think that Leadership Greensboro also gave me the opportunity to meet people like Elizabeth and Heavenly and Brandon, the program chairs, and even members of this year's class, meet people that I probably wouldn't have been able to meet on my own. You often see in newspapers or in articles the top 30 under 30 or the top 40 under 40, and you think, man, those are great people and intelligent people, but how am I going to meet them? But this class has a number of those individuals, not just the 2020, but the 2019 had them, the 2018 had them. So it really gives you the opportunity to form relationships with influential people in the community who are doing neat things. And I can't say enough about Nikita, who has just been dynamic in every way, shape, and form, not just this year, but in the previous year and before we even came on board. I know she'll say that we give her a lot of support, but she's really leading the charge on this thing and doing just a terrific job. So I'll pass the baton to my other program chair member, teammate Brandon.
I did not pay them to say this. I just want y'all to know.
So Brandon Inscore here. I came to Greensboro because I followed my girlfriend here, now my wife. We went to school at Elon University and graduated, came to Greensboro. I spent 16 years in public service, working for both Guilford County Schools and the city of Greensboro. So I had a local connection with the community, but was looking to deepen that and broaden that even more and expand my network. One of the things with our company, we have a few people across the state who have attended Leadership Wilmington and leadership programs in the Triangle. The one big differentiator, I think, between all those Leadership Greensboro, or between the leadership programs with the Leadership Greensboro program, is the Center for Creative Leadership and the training that you get there. And I think that is a phenomenal part of this program. The other thing is the thoughtful leaders. There's so many leaders in this class and previous classes and the current classes who I would be proud to have them represent me, whether it be on a board or commission, the board of a nonprofit, or in local government as a city council member someday. Just because of the way they behave, their thoughtful leadership. And so I've said it many times before, but when we leave these program days, some people are like, I'm exhausted. I'm full of energy after I leave these because of all the energy that those people bring. So with that, Nikita, I'll turn it back over to you, and you can. We need to hear from this year's class.
Yeah, sounds good. Yes. So we also have a privilege of having members of our current Leadership Greensboro 2020 class also on the call. And in Leadership Greensboro, there is always a debate about which class is the best. What I can definitely say about the 2020 class is they are the most unique, and no one can argue with you guys on that at this point, because they are the only ones that have experienced the pivot that we have had to make in this program and take our program days, which are really highly interactive. We had to take those online. So you guys get that honor, and I can back you on that fully, that you're the most unique class now of Leadership Greensboro. But if you wouldn't mind sharing as well what your experience is. We have Marcus Thomas, we have Ryan Billings, Jasmine Beard, and John Hill. So I'm looking at you, or right beside me, Marcus. How about you start? Share with us anything about your experience.
So just in reply to Heavenly and the rest of the 2019 class, I know you guys say that you guys are the best class of all time or whatever.
Forever and ever.
Never. That's fine. But the 2020 class, we are the greatest class of all time. We've reached GOAT level status. Just want to put that out.
I mean, you know what? You have survived through a pandemic, so hey, what can I say? You got us on that one.
But no, so I'm not originally from Greensboro. I'm originally from Spartanburg, South Carolina, and spent 14 years in Atlanta as well. And like James, a job promotion actually brought me to Greensboro. And so I moved here in 2015, and just was getting involved, volunteering in the city, and I just wanted to continue to grow in my leadership skills and capabilities, and wanted to meet different people, as more people within the city. And so I decided to apply for Leadership Greensboro. And I remember my mom and my aunt going through Leadership Spartanburg in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and just how much they talked about how much they enjoyed that. So I said, you know what, let me apply for Leadership Greensboro. And I was grateful to have, such a wonderful boss and CAO here at Mount Zion Baptist Church that supported me, who are both alumni of the program as well. And so just going through the class, I was able to make some great connections and really make some new friends, like literally new friends. Like we go to Greensboro Swarm games and like hang out and talk and check in on each other's kids and wives and families. So was able to make some really great connections with new people within the class. And one thing I really liked about Leadership Greensboro is that the program has its finger on the pulse of what's happening here within the city. And our theme is ending the cycle of poverty. And if anybody does any work with United Way, you know that their theme or their mission is to end poverty. And so just knowing that Leadership Greensboro has its finger on the pulse of the city and knowing what's important and making sure that the themes match up to what's happening within our city, it's been great. And Center of Creative Leadership was probably one of my favorite days thus far within the program. I was able to learn so much about myself professionally and personally as well. Just, realizing how much sleep I need to get, how much more sleep I need to get so I could be even more effective in my day-to-day life. And so I really enjoyed Leadership Greensboro. If you guys have ever purchased something from a company or a product or a service, and sometimes you get those questions like, would you refer this product or service or company to someone else? That's how I feel about Leadership Greensboro. I would definitely refer Leadership Greensboro to any upcoming and outstanding leaders within this city to get involved and just go through this program, because you're able to learn so much. And I was able to see so much about the city when we took the bus tour. And I was able to learn so much about, just the history of the city, and then just the great people that live and that have worked and fought for us within this city. So I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be a part of the 2020 class, and I will continue to be a strong advocate as much as I can for Leadership Greensboro, because it's a wonderful program.
Thank you, Marcus. If you guys, and maybe if we could go to Ryan, but if you'll make sure you share where you work and what you do, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, hello. Ryan Billings. I work for Novant Health as a clinic administrator. So it's a very interesting opportunity to be part of this great leadership program with Leadership Greensboro for the 2020 class. Novant Health is actually fairly new to the Greensboro area. We're based out of Winston and Charlotte. So as we continue to look to expand our care for the communities, one of the areas we're going to grow into is the Greensboro area. So wanted to try to get some folks involved in this program. And, from a business aspect, I think it's been phenomenal. I've been able to come back and share with some of our leaders what a great community Greensboro is, what kind of support is needed in the community. So there's definitely a huge educational component that I've learned about the greater Greensboro area. But then just from a personal standpoint, I agree with, I think everybody on this call has mentioned it, the Center for Creative Leadership, to be able to get that type of quality leadership training and education through, this program has just been phenomenal for my development. And I also think you carry, as a leader, you carry that back to your team. I know I've had, little workshops with our supervisors and our leaders within our organization, and just shared little tidbits that I've learned from the Center for Creative Leadership days. And so that's been phenomenal. And then I will just tell you, I live in Kernersville. I have 3 kids. We frequent Greensboro, Winston, kind of, as anybody in the triad does, you kind of bounce back and forth between the areas. But the one take home I will say about this program is the first day that we really had a big program day going out in the city, I came home and I'm like, telling my wife, I'm like, Liz, we have to move to Greensboro like tomorrow. And I was like willing to just like, I wanted to be there. I wanted to, just be right on a tent in the Greenway and just be surrounded by all the great things that are there, because, even though it's only a 15-minute, 10-15-minute car ride to get to Greensboro, and it doesn't feel that far, it just is such people describe it as a vibrant city, but I think what makes Greensboro great is it's just a friendly area. And anybody you meet, that's the one core component that I've seen about this program, is everybody that's in this is just so friendly, so inviting. I'm from the Middle Atlantic, so you don't always see that type of behavior and treatment up there. And it's a big enough area that there's a lot of stuff to do, but it just also has that down home feel to it, where you really do feel like everybody is very neighborly and friendly. And I'm grateful for the relationships I've been able to build, and I hope to continue contributing to the community in Greensboro for years to come. So just a phenomenal place to live, and really have enjoyed how this program has highlighted this area to the degree it does. So yeah, I couldn't find enough good things to say about the program. So very excited and happy to be a part of it.
Is that an applause sound?
I know, we do need it. Our not so secret mission is to convert everybody to Greensboro lovers. So it's working. So thank you. One fun fact we just learned about you, Ryan. I didn't know this. Yeah. We actually have someone on our call, Kennedy Curry, who was an athlete at HB. Sounds like you were her coach, her strength and conditioning coach.
She knows me as Coach Billings.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what she said.
That's exactly what she said.
Lot different atmosphere. I traded in my hooded sweatshirt for a shirt and tie, so big change for me.
So it was fun.
That one quick second, I'll just add something along the same line. So my background is in coaching, and I coached, strength and conditioning coach. I coached sports for years, and I will say, like, just the stuff that you learn in the Center for Creative Leadership really should not be taken for granted, because there's so many parallels with coaching and business, and you really do just learn so much in terms of coaching and being a true leader that you really can take home from that program. So I think that's by far worth the price of admission for anything that you can do as a leader in the area, is being able to go through that program. So really hats off to everyone getting that organized.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll kick to probably the quietest person in class, Jasmine Beard. But I know it's hard for you to share now, but can you tell us what some of your reflections are about the experience this year?
Okay, great afternoon, everyone. Jasmine Beard, Chief Strategy Consultant for Ajoy Consulting, primarily in business development consulting. So I would say overall, for me, it was more, I joined because I love to give back in the community, but I knew there was a next level to being able to do so. And throughout the year, I always like to highlight and admire the strengths in others, because, when you admire the strength of others, that helps you grow and see where, okay, well, I can take my personal development to the next level. And one, in turn, that allows me to be able to better serve my clients, as well as the organizations that the boards that I serve on. So for me, the biggest thing is throughout each program day, the quality of the speakers that we were involved with, the quality of the business owners, city management, city government personnel that we were able to come in contact with. At most of the time, we don't think about how important these individuals are and how they impact our community on a daily basis. So as a leader of a young professionals organization, as a leader of a small business, the leadership capital, I would say, has been of the greatest value to me, if I had to say, because it allows me to learn what helped shape their leadership, what helped get them to the point of success in which they are, because these are highly influential individuals that we get to come in contact with during these program days. And even looking at ways that everyone else said, I echo, looking at how you can better serve your community. We're working on a project, affordable housing, which is a huge crisis that Greensboro and the country nationwide is dealing with. So that has been something very exciting, as well as near and dear to myself. But that's not only something that was triggered on something that we had the privilege of working on in the program, that's also something that we have the privilege of, that I've had the privilege of being able to transition and start an initiative in my own, in the nonprofit organization that I'm with, which is the Greensboro JCs. We're working on some partnerships strategically, just based off of the information that we've been privy to in the Leadership Greensboro program. So it's not only allowed me to be able to serve from a personal standpoint, but even expand those efforts as a group collective effort to be able to give back in the community.
That's great to hear. Thank you, Jasmine.
You're welcome.
John, last but not least, do you have any particular reflections you'd like to share about your experience?
Well, first off, hello everyone. I'm John Hill, operate Auto Trend, Select Cycle, Jeep Guys, and several other automotive service and motorcycle related businesses. And I employ a lot of 30-something-year-olds. And I can tell you from this group, I've learned how to better interact with much of the managers and the people that I hire, because it's a different plateau, and it's been greatly influential in how I deal with them and manage them and how they manage others. And the Center for Creative Leadership was very helpful. I read tons of books, but to be in a classroom one-on-one with the instructors like we had, it carries it to a new level. So you can audio book or you can read, but when you've got a leader up there that it's a little more personal and you can retain it. And I too, like Heavenly, am a Greensboro native. I'm an alumni of UNCG and A&T, and thought I knew a lot of people, but the more I interact with groups, I find more and more people that I never knew existed. work with a host of nonprofits from Greensboro to Thomasville, whether it be music or Wheels for Hope. And by the way, Wheels for Hope, we got our PPP money last week, so congratulations for us.
Wow.
But, we're going to make it. And it's been some trying times, and a lot of the interaction have contacted me with people that help our other nonprofits. Piedmont Blues Society, the day we did at the Children's Museum, the Consortium for Nonprofits, we've been wearing that gentleman out. I mean, Atiba Berkeley is president of Blues Society, and I have gained so much from him, and we're continuing, and I'm sure it'll be beneficial for all of us. We're on a $250,000 fundraiser for the Blues Society, so he's helping us track that, and several different endeavors we're taking on.
That's awesome, John. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm glad to hear firsthand of organizations getting that paycheck protection and being able to take advantage of that. Yep. But overall, just as I think everyone has in some form stated, their experience with Leadership Greensboro in numerous ways has been, life-changing. So we appreciate that. Is there anyone else that is a current class member or an alum that wanted to just share something real quick?
I just want to say.
Really, Elizabeth? No.
I can't help it.
Oh,
I think one of my favorite unintended consequences of the program, I expected to learn about Greensboro and ways that I could serve, but I think for those of you on the call that are members and supporting the program, I want to say thank you. I didn't realize I was going to learn so much about the organizations that help support the chamber and the work that you all do. So thank you for sending people to be my classmates. Thank you for sponsoring days. Thank you for sponsoring meals. We have so many good food people here in this town. I got to be the beneficiary of that. So they don't really tout this as one of the benefits, but you get to learn who in this town is doing the work to support the chamber and support our local nonprofits and support our young leaders. So I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you for doing what you do, and thank you for being present and engaged with this program, because now I know about businesses that I otherwise probably would not have encountered. Maybe I would have, maybe I wouldn't have. But this program wouldn't be successful without the buy-in of all of the chamber members in the community. So I just want to jump in and say thank you. Thank you for what you do, because that's why this program is so great.
Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth. And honestly, I'm glad you brought that point about being able to connect with businesses that you normally wouldn't be aware of. I know many of you that have participated in our Motivation Monday call have come up here to share your stories and to network with each other. And Leadership Greensboro definitely provides that same kind of platform. You're able to meet with different businesses that you would not have known about, and then you develop an actual relationship where you can just call on these different leaders in these different businesses for whatever it is that you may need beyond being a part of the class. So that networking piece that we are all searching for is definitely a part of the root of that program. And again, you have lifelong bonds versus that 1-2 minute quick business card exchange. So just wanted to piggyback on that it definitely is a piece. Wanted to see if there anyone else that may have a question, comment that they want to share. And if you do, please tell us who you are and the business for what you do. Barbara.
Can I share? So I'm a current member. It's so good to see my current classmates and my coworkers all in one place here. I echo what everyone said. When I first started the program, I thought, before I went to a class, this seems very hyped up. Like people are just real jazzed. And I remember after the first 2 days going back to work and talking to my boss and just like, it's amazing. I totally get the hype. And I couldn't stop talking about what I learned. And every day since has been like that. As Brandon said, I'm usually exhausted, but I'm also really energized from everything that I've learned. And I talk my husband's ear off every evening that we have these classes. So, and Nikita, I can't say enough positive things about you as a leader. So thank you. And yes, I agree with what everyone has said.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Does anyone else have a question or a comment? Please share. Okay. Well, I'm going to kick it back to you, Nikita.
Evelyn,
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I would like to introduce myself to everybody.
Hi, James.
My name is James Rosa Jr., and my wife Tabby is in the other room, but she's working from home. And I am the executive director of the Rosa Foundation, and I am new here, and I hope to be in that next class. And I just want to share a little thing that we did this past weekend. We went ahead and donated some lunch to the Food Lion on West Meadowview this weekend, and we hope to probably do that again soon. Just wanted to share a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you, James.
We also have a question from Tara. Maybe one or two of you could share. What have you all discovered about Greensboro that surprised you?
James, I think you were going to say something, so you want to answer that and also share whatever you were about to share?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that. For me personally, you know, one of my next door neighbors, he's a sheriff, and across the street, another neighbor is a police officer for Kernersville, actually, but the sheriff is in Greensboro. And, you know, when I went through the program, we all got the opportunity to do a ride along with a police officer. And so I was able to participate in that and be able to get firsthand experience of what it's like to, kind of see what it's like to be a police officer. But we also, on that same day, had an activity with an officer where they have this instrument that really simulates real things or what they would encounter out in the real world. So if they're walking into a situation and someone has a gun, they have the opportunity to simulate that. And it's a training program that Greensboro only has when you look at other cities in this immediate area. And they're expensive pieces of equipment. But when I realized, look, this is Greensboro, the only city that's really wanting to put up the money to invest in the police officers, to invest in protecting the communities, it just further confirmed me moving to this area. We are heavily invested in protecting the community as well as building the community. And it gave me a different perspective of police officers as a whole. You know, police officers and other, you know, fire departments and other people, they get sometimes a bad rep because of what you see the media portray them to be. And it just turns out not to be true at all, especially when you go through a program like this that Leadership Greensboro can offer and meet these people and see the type of training that they go through. So I know that was a long-winded answer, but I hope I was able to share some light to that question.
No, it's fine, James. And thank you, Tara, for such a good question. Jasmine, did you have something you were about to share?
I was trying to remember the location where we saw the monument at, but learning about the monument that marks the actual center of Greensboro. And the reason that they didn't decide to build upon that, I didn't mention earlier, but I am a Greensboro native, born and raised. And I thought that was very interesting that, you know, what we think would be downtown in the center of the city it's actually not the case. And knowing that there was an actual monument that existed to mark the center of the city, and learning that, you know, the reason that they didn't establish the center of the town down in that area was because of the landscape, the instability of the land and plumbing and all that's needed to set a foundation of a metropolitan area. So for me, that was a small but interesting fact that I learned during the bus tour, because you wouldn't know unless someone pointed out to you, you would not even notice that was considered the center of Greensboro.
Yeah.
You paid attention, Jasmine.
Took notes. You know, Jasmine took notes.
I have my book here.
I want to.
Go ahead, Nikita.
No, you go ahead, Evelyn.
No, I just wanted to say that, did anyone else, I'm going to let you wrap it up, Nikita and Tracy, but just wanted to see if there was anyone else that had anything to share or just, you know, a 20-second feel good feel good vibe that you learned today or that you've been dealing with over these past month and a half?
I would share a quote that I like to say. It's an original quote, but when we talk about serving the community and serving others, one of the things I always say, and remind myself as I grow as a professional and a leader is, your growth means nothing unless you're planting seeds for others along the way.
I like it.
I
And I
like
think
it.
that's a good heart. That's
Yeah.
a good way to to kind of wrap everything up. Unless there's anything else, I just appreciate everybody coming out today and jumping on this LG Takeover Motivation Monday. We'll certainly continue with Motivation Monday next week. But Nikita, I'll let you wrap it up.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for being here. I especially want to thank Jasmine, Marcus, John, and Ryan for taking the time to kind of share with everyone your thoughts about the experience. It's been really good for me to hear how it impacted you. It's very encouraging for me, especially as I continue to work hard on wrapping up y'all's program year. So I needed that vote of confidence. Also, I want to thank our program chairs, Brandon, Heavenly, Elizabeth, and James. It's definitely been my absolute privilege to work with y'all this year, for real. As I have stated to them before, I'm not interested in breaking up with you guys. So we'll have to see how we can continue this while keeping the spirit of the program. So I also wanted to thank you all again, everyone who's on the call today. We are in a very unusual time across the globe, but we definitely cannot stop this program. Leadership Greensboro, as you've heard, is just too good to stop. So we are recruiting for our next class very soon. The application period for the Leadership Greensboro 2021 class is May 25th through July 3rd. So stay tuned for that application link and stay tuned for virtual information sessions if you want to learn more about the program. On social media, I put those links in the chat. We also have, we recorded a podcast. I talked with Brandon and Elizabeth and recorded a podcast about the Leadership Greensboro experience if you want to learn more on your own as well. So please follow us on our social media. And so, yeah, thank you again for your time. I will send it back to you, Tracy.
Thank you. Thank you, Nikita. Thank you, all of our Leadership Greensboro folks. I will tell you, when I started Leadership Greensboro in 2015 to learn more about the city and to learn more about how to get involved, I had no idea that 4 years later I would join the Chamber team. And that has been absolutely wonderful and a wonderful, unexpected twist to my LG experience. Leadership Greensboro, they have a little bit of a motto when they go by: connect, impact, and serve. And so speaking of impact, Leadership Greensboro alumni receive a discounted ticket price for our National Leadership Conference that we are hosting in October. It is no coincidence that the Leadership Conference is titled Impact. That comes directly from its connection to Leadership Greensboro and the legacy of leadership that the Greensboro Chamber has. Information and tickets can be found at impactgso.com. We are very excited. We have John Gordon as our keynote, and there will be more information to come, but be sure, if you are an alumni, to go grab your tickets and take advantage of your discount. Thanks for joining us today. Your member engagement team obviously is here. If you have anything that you would like to share or anything that we can assist you with, join us tomorrow at 3 p.m. for Try This Tuesday with Cecilia Thompson, our Executive Director of Action Greensboro. Tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo, and Cecilia has an amazing lineup and some very fun things to do at home around Cinco de Mayo that you will not want to miss. So join us tomorrow. We will see you then. Thanks for joining.